Hey, and good Tuesday morning, everybody. Meteorologist Greg Majeski back with you here on the Weather Nerds YouTube channel with the weather report here on your December the 9th, 2025. Hope you guys having a great day out there. Definitely cold for parts of the country, that is for sure. I'm going to show you some temperatures this morning that are going to knock your socks off. I mean, some really, really bitterly cold air. Definitely a little early in the season to see this, but we'll definitely take it as best we can take it. It's coming our way. Parts of the country are really going to get some very, very cold temperatures here in the forecast period. Now, before we get into all of that, if you are new and you're passing on by, and you know there's so much clutter out there in the YouTube universe, I like to be your no-nonsense weather guy. Have me as one of your sources. You know, there's a lot of weather sources out there. I don't treat every storm as a storm of the century. I don't say it's all doom and gloom, we're all going to die. We don't play that game here. Our motto here is real simple. Keep you prepared, not scared. Give you the information so you can make informed decisions to keep yourself, your family safe, and keep you on top of the weather. If you like that kind of approach, come on board. Hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. Very important. Hit that notification bell so you're alerted when I do these updates, because YouTube, you don't hit that notification bell, it'll ignore you. It's just the way it is. Anyway, let's talk about yesterday, as we have had our highs and lows yesterday. So our high spot was Miami, Florida. What a great place to be this time of year. Yeah, it was 87 degrees down there. Our cold spot was minus 23, about 31 miles northeast of Forest Center, Minnesota, minus 23, 87. So, yep, that's a 110 degree swing there across the country. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about what we got going on. We got a very active storm system out here on the west coast, a lot of moisture coming in. The way the pattern has been going, guys, it's been coming into the northwest, coming down like this, and then kind of going down like this. So that's where it's kind of been. The Gulf has been closed for business. We haven't been able to tap any moisture out of that. The southwest continues to stay on the dry side. Northeast, Great Lakes continue to stay snowy. That's going to continue. But let's talk turkey. Let's talk some cold turkey, shall we? This morning, I mean, we're talking about some bitterly cold air. I want to highlight this here. Let me get this in my interactive mode here this morning. As we're talking about some bitterly cold air, some of this is going to be breaking off and heading southward. Okay, so we're saying, there's a 51. This is Chicken, Alaska. I believe it's called Chicken, Alaska. 51 degrees there. This was 51 earlier, but now it's 49, below zero, by the way. These are all below zero temperatures. So we got minus 20s up here across the central areas of Alaska, minus 45, minus 42. So, yeah, some of this is going to be breaking off and heading on down to the south. So it's coming this way. It's going, but question marks on how far it's going to penetrate in the U.S., that's still a little bit of question, but not too bad. I think this is going to be the northern plains, the Great Lakes, definitely getting into the northeast if it continues the current trajectory of how things are going right now. Now, as far as the U.S. is concerned, I'm going to go ahead and pull this down into the U.S. so you can kind of see what's going on here. There we go. Again, we got a little bit of a break from the cold up here. It's kind of rainy here a little bit, a little wet, a little warmer here. Here's a little clipper system bringing some snows here across the Great Lakes. Again, a very active pattern here on the west coast. Southwest, boy, y'all dry as a bone. Southeast looking quiet right now. North Carolina, some pretty decent snows yesterday. That's pulled on out. And we got a couple more snow events, I think, into the Smokies here as we go for the next couple days as well. So, again, just not an overly active weather pattern as far as big major storm systems, but active enough that we're going to keep dumping the snow on the same ground here. But we are expecting a pattern change for Christmas week. I hope you guys were not expecting a cold, snowy Christmas, because right now, as of this date, December the 9th, looks like there's a tendency to be a little warmer. I'm going to show you that as well, kind of a teaser there for you. All right, so here we go with our winter weather advisory. So look at all this wind up here. Boy, very, very gusty winds up here. There's your winter storm warnings there in the pink, winter weather advisories there in the purple. Got some here across portions of upstate New York, Pennsylvania, a little bit here across areas of Virginia and North Carolina because of the snow and ice that's on the ground there. A little fog down here in Texas and Louisiana, and definitely cold air in Texas and South Georgia. A couple of freeze warnings out there for this morning. All right, let's talk about the wet weather. Boy, we got a lot of rain out here on the West Coast. You want to talk about rain and snow? I saw a post on this. Mount Rainier is expecting somewhere between 10 to 15 feet of snow. And when I show you the model data for that area as far as precipitable water, yeah, you'll see why there's that. But Mount Rainier, which is that big mountain right up near Seattle, not too far from there, it's going to be just capturing all that moisture. But 10 to 15 feet of snow, I'm like, wow, that'll blow your socks off. All right, now as far as thunderstorms are concerned, today, tomorrow, Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, got nothing from the Storm Prediction Center. So no thunderstorms out there, all quiet on that front. All right, let's go get into the model data here as we got our intermediate model. Our NAM is streaming along here, 60 hours here. Again, we've got our one little system here coming across the northeast. Here's another one coming down across the Great Lakes. And we continue this pattern blowing in on the west coast. And I got a nice cold dump here. Got a front coming down here on Thursday toward the southeast in the mid-Atlantic. So a reinforcing shot there. The more pronounced one, the big one that we're expecting, that's going to be into early next week. I'm going to show you the European model to show you that. But again, these nice little clipper systems continue to move right along. They're dumping like some nice little snows there. And they move right on out going to Thursday. Here's another one coming on down here again. So again, this very snowy pattern. Areas that have been getting snow, they're going to continue to build that snowpack. Now, snowpack is important. I'll tell you this. We got snows up in the Carolinas, not too far from Georgia. But it's close enough to us to where today's high temperatures, I had to revise them down a little bit because the air was coming down the northeast a little bit out of the northeast, and the temperatures were influenced by that snow not too far from where I'm at up into the Carolinas. And the air was just a little colder. So snowpack is a very big deal. It really does. It does influence how cold it's going to get, how cold the nights get, especially if you've got a cold layer on the snowpack on the ground. It makes a big difference. So we got to track that. Very important. All right, so this is only the 60 hour. This only goes out till 1 o'clock on Thursday. You think you got a snow track right through here? Yeah, pretty good bet. Right here, coming out of North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, coming into Michigan. You see a little bit of lake effect there. And we got snows down into the Appalachians too. North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, parts of Maryland. It's continuing on there. Decent snows, 5-6 inches here. But you see all this green out here in the west. These are feet. We're talking feet of snow here across areas of Washington and into Idaho and into Montana, higher elevation. So ski season is definitely wide open out there in the west. And this is just a 2-day total. We'll show you the European here in a second. All right, that'll take us out 10 days. All right. So here we go with our temperature. Because I hate when that resets. I don't know why that thing does that. It drives me nuts. But anyway, so we're looking at our 60 hour here, kind of seeing where that cold air is sitting up. Again, remember that blue is 32 degrees or colder temperatures. So you get an idea where that's going to be. So not looking too bad here across the southwest. We're kind of warming things up here across Texas. Not too bad, but definitely milder. It is above normal out here in the west. You can see where the cold air is definitely kind of coming in here across the Great Lakes, the northeast, even parts of the south with this below normal temperatures here in Georgia. We've been pretty much below normal for the most part since about after Thanksgiving, right around Thanksgiving. It's been staying that way here for the most part. So that trend is going to continue here, at least the short term. But let's talk pattern change, okay? Let's talk pattern change here. Let's look at what's going on right now. Here's your snapshot right now. Pretty straightforward. You got high pressure here. It's kind of centered right through there. Heights are kind of up this way. But you see the flow. Here's the flow. Here's the flow. Got a big depth going like that. That's been staying there pretty consistent here for a little while. And this is not going to change. We're going to continue to hold this. In fact, that high pressure ridge is going to build even further out to the west. Here's that one shot on Thursday. That moves on out. And then here's the other shot coming in on Sunday, Monday. That's going to be part of that cold air that was up in Canada coming down here into early next week. Then, after that, look what happens here. We pull this out. Got a little system there going into the middle of next week. And then look at that toward the end of next week. Oh, look at that. We got high pressure here in the west. We got high pressure here in the east. Needless to say, the flow is up here. So that means toward the end of next week, we're going to see temperatures moderate and warm up a bit. And looks like we're going to be heading toward a potential pattern flip. This is what I've been expecting up to Christmas week. So it looks like we're going to bring the cold air out of here in the west. And obviously we're going to warm things up here in the east. This is going into December the 23rd. Here's December 23rd right there. All right. So we'll see if this holds true. Again, this is a long range projection, but it does make sense. We'll get that. And the player is going to be this high here. And the high that's off the west. Where does that set up? It can shift, it can adjust. So we're going to watch that very closely over the next couple of weeks as we get closer and closer to Christmas week. All right, so here we go. Here's our 10-day loop here. Again, no big superstorm systems. A lot of clippers, small little leak systems that keep coming on in here, one after another, coming in off the west coast and then diving into the central portion of the U.S. So I'm going to slow this down here for a little bit. So here comes that first one coming on down, coming through the Great Lakes there on Wednesday. Coming on down in here, going into New England, going into Wednesday. We're going to tail that front air. Again, we'll bring some more little mountain snows in here across areas of the Appalachians here, but that cold air. This is that first shot coming down here on Wednesday, Thursday. Still staying wet out there on the West Coast, obviously. And then there comes our next little system coming on through here on Friday. There goes, whoop, quick one. It's a fast one there on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There goes that one there. Bring a little rain to the southeast, little snows there across the northeast again, going into Sunday morning. And very tight gradient, but that, again, the polar vortex part of it is right up here. Now, when we were tracking this earlier, we thought this thing was going to track this way, further south, so it's much, much further north. So definitely a glancing blow, but a height down to 498. That's pretty cold. That's some sub-zero temperatures there, and it's just part of that cold air I showed you up in Alaska. Just a little piece of it's going to kind of break off and kind of come that way. And then as we go into the end of this run, remember toward the end of next week, things look like they kind of pull on out. And the one thing I noticed here is that freezing line is way up here. A lot of the country going to warm up here, big time here toward the end of next week. So it looks like we're going to finally get a shift in the weather pattern. We're going to stay cold at least through the early next week, and then we get to warm up here a little bit. So here goes your rain totals here. Again, this will be snow, obviously, occur across the Great Lakes and stuff. Little snow, pretty decent rains along the Gulf Coast. This is a little better than what it was yesterday across the southeast. We'll definitely take that. Again, those yellows, that's 1 inch plus, but heavy rains along the Gulf Coast. The northwest, I mean, boy, we're talking 14 inches of rain. That's why they're saying 10 to 15 feet of snow out on Mount Rainier because, 14 inches, your 10-day total showing 14 inches of rain out there. That's pretty brutal. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of heavy snows out there on the big mountain out there in the west. All right, now as far as snow totals are concerned, this hasn't changed that much from yesterday as well. So the green, we're talking, 65 inches of snow here, quite a bit. Quite a bit of snow out here on the mountain ranges. Intermountain, Montana, Idaho stays snowy, Wyoming, and that track continues with those clippers across the high plains, Great Lakes. Yellow, we're kind of getting above. We're getting the feet of snow here across portions of Pennsylvania, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. Going to continue that pattern. Even little snows down here in West Virginia, getting into portions of the Smokies. So that's going to continue to stay on the snowy side there. Now, as far as the temperatures are concerned, I got this looping here. I want to show you this big Arctic area. Here it comes. This is part of it. You see that invasion there. So Saturday morning, you're looking at temperatures here. Looks like getting close to about minus 20 here. Getting very close. So we're talking minus 20 up this way. Very cold on your Saturday morning. That's that initial one. And then this moves on. We're getting below zero temperatures here going into Sunday morning. Look at this. Down into areas of Illinois, Iowa, and up in through the Dakotas. So again, the teaser thumbnail on this was exactly what I'm advertising here. So I'm not making this stuff up. Arctic air, Arctic intrusion, pretty good coverage of below zero temperatures there in the purple on Sunday morning. All right. And then going into Monday morning, this will shift a little bit going into portions of Indiana, Ohio, a little bit of the Northeast, a little bit. But it looks like Saturday will be the coldest morning there across the high plains. And then this should begin to pull on out. So you got another little port. It's like coming in little pieces. Here's Tuesday morning. Again, another little below zero temperature. Again, remember, we got snow on the ground there too. So that'll definitely be an additional factor here as far as the below zero temperature is concerned. Then as we go all the way out, I'm going to take this all the way out because I want to show, look at the blue going away. We got a nice warm up. See that? Big warm up coming here across a big part of the country. A little shot there coming on down, but no real big temperature drops. It does get colder out in the west. Notice out in the west, we're getting a little more blue out there, but looks like the big warm up is coming our way. So that's what I'm expecting. So with that said, I want to show you what the European Weekly is putting out here as far as the week of Christmas. This is the 20th to the 27th. 20th to the 27th. So the only place showing a really kind of cold air is kind of up here in the Northeast, but we're looking pretty warm here across a big part of the country. Now, I do suspect this area out here in the West, if the European is going to be correct, might turn colder. We'll see if it updates here later today. But we do have a warm-up coming our way after about the 17th. And the question is, does it linger into Christmas or not? Some of the models have been going back and forth, bringing back another Arctic intrusion coming in sometime close to Christmas. But again, it's still too far away to really get a good lock-in on that. But right now, the trend for Christmas week is milder temperatures across the country. And I know a lot of folks, they like a cold Christmas and stuff. I'm not saying it's going to be heat wave. I'm just saying it's going to be temperatures are above normal, and where they're going to be above normal the most is going to be out here in the plains. You see the higher temperatures out there, all right? In my neck of the woods, we're talking temperatures of roughly about 3 to 4 degrees above normal. So instead of being in the mid 50s, we'll be closer to 60 degrees. That's what that means. Just an example. All right, so let's go look at your climate outlook here, get you wrapped up here as we take a look at this. Again, you can kind of see where that cold air is setting up, obviously, this next week. So this is going in from the 14th to the 18th here. We're warmer here in the west, and we're colder here in the east. But look what happens here. I had mentioned yesterday that I thought we would start lighting this up orange here, and looks like that's going to happen because here, look at your 8 to 14 day. Boom, that warms up there. Now, I do suspect, again, if the European is correct, we might change this a little bit out here in the west. We'll have to watch tomorrow. Definitely staying cold across the Great Lakes and then across New England. All right, now as far as precipitation, this is a little bit better. We're still dry out here in the southwest. That's going to continue. California, that ridge is not totally breaking down out there, and that's going to continue here going out from the 16th to the 22nd. So we'll watch closely as we get closer to Christmas week. Obviously, a lot of travel that week. We'll be watching to see where the storm systems are. But right now, we're just not in a weather pattern that's very conducive for any big major storm systems like a nor'easter or Gulf flow or anything like that. Just not seeing that right now. But we are in a very snowy pattern, that's for sure, across the high plains, the Northeast, the Midwest. That's staying very, very well. So, I mean, we've had some seasons like last year wasn't that we had a big snow donut hole there. It was last year or the year before. I can't remember. Across Ohio, it was quite significant there. But anyway, I digress. Anyway, let's go back to this here. Again, appreciate you guys checking out the channel. Again, we had a couple new subscribers yesterday. It was good to kind of add a couple people here. And who we got there this morning? We got Tyler out there. Good morning, Tyler. Real Not Fake out there. Mick, good morning, Mick. Good to see you there, Arkansas. Appreciate you guys checking us out. And again, I appreciate you guys going. And I think we're up to almost $50 now, so we're getting close to. Once we get to 100, I'll put another ad out there. I'll keep trying to build this thing a little at a time. Just got to remember, folks, got to hit that notification bell, man, because you don't have that thing on. Just you know how it is. Dang, YouTube is just it's such a monopoly out there for the bigger channels when the smaller channels are trying to do something. Anyway, that's it for now. You guys take it easy, be good, stay safe, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. You guys have a great and safe day. Bye bye.